Yesterday we are seeing about the Hive clients. So that is what are the clients are there. So there are three various types of Hive clients are there. So these clients main first one about this command line interface, how we are going to be run program through the command line. So that we can simply say about how we are going to be processed through line by line. So each and every segment, how we are going to be tested. So if you remember the difference between compiler and interpreter, where we have interpreter concept. So we can run all the commands at one command at a time, then we can proceed all the things. No? Same way here. So look. So the next two are about how we are want to do I based upon the web browser. So I told you I will show you that thing also today. So one second. Some server. So the first one is a command line interface. Second one is web interface. So whenever the concept web will come, it will show some browser. And third one is about through the JDBC drivers. So we are going to be shown on browser how it will be. Now we will see one by one. So yesterday we already saw about this one Hive CLI command client, how it will be command line interface. Here we are not going to be touched with any HDFS structure here. So generally these Hive, all those environment is going to be stand upon HDFS. But for running a single command, it is not going to be deal on the HDFS. It is simply running on command and display the result only. Simply display the result. So here we know that Hive is greater than symbol. It is ready with the Hive commands where we can run it. So it is ready to shows the terminal like this. So we can open terminal and we can do the configuration of those things. Then it is ready with the Hive. So command line interface, then drivers, then to metastore how it will be processed. So this one is an example how to show that. So these are the various commands. So how to start? So first one, we are going to be just we can open terminal, then we can type Hive underscore home slash bin space Hive hyphen server. So simply how we were SSH space something your number at the rate of 192.168. Can you remember now? The same concept here we are going to be connect with the client. So that is already HDFS is installed, already Hive is installed in your system. Then how we are going to be bring on to the command line, how we are going to be bring to the terminal where we are going to be run these commands. So how we have to bring this compiler, we can simply that how the compiler used to bring back to the terminal. So by this we can access the servers. So here we are not going to be touch any HDFS directly. We can Hive home only we are going to be done. Then set hive.cli.print current db is equal to true. Then we can do. Then we are going to be create one database. So Hive default create database. Our first database we are going to create. Once it is created, then we are going to be use that particular database, and automatically it is entered inside that greater than symbol. So that is ready with first database. So whichever commands, whichever tables we are going to be create, it is going to be stored on that particular database. It is going to be stored. So here we are going to be create our first table. So that is please be remember that is the both are different. This is the create database. Here is create a table. So table we are going to create. If the table is there, what are the rows and columns are there? Generally, we are going to mention the rows only. Sorry, columns only. So in columns and what type of data in that particular column. So simply we have to know about employee ID and employee name. So whenever we have to talk about name, is the first name and last name, both are string, and employee ID is integer. So that specification we were mentioned here. So that is then ls. If you give once the table is created, then we mentioned some ls. We need to know the list what are. So home, our first database db database is there. In that database we have our first table also. So like that we can see the directory stores the. So that is the meaning here. Hive warehouse directory that stores the our first data. Sorry, that is our first table on the list. Our first table is stored on that particular list it shows. Okay. So this is a simple how we can run one the SQL statements like in the Hive how we are going to be create a warehouse. It is a data warehouse database. Then we are going to be create a tables on that. How we can see that tables. So next one is about Hive web interface. Hive web interface server. So here see that. So before that Hive and greater than symbol where we are going to be run the command line. So for example, if you don't see this one, so this one Hive CLI. So from CLI we are going to be use the client side. What we are going to be use a terminal we are going to be use and we are going to be process. Now we are going to be use the Hadoop web browser. Through this web browser we are going to be access this. So how we are going to be see the web browser and how we are going to be access all those things. Okay. See this. So here we are going to be given. Okay. So see here. Here the web browser. Whenever we are going to be talk as a browser, then definitely through the URL we can access the browser. No? We can open the browser. How we are going to be accessing some URL will be there. So that is this is the symbol known as a Hadoop that port number is there. No? That is the port number. We are going to through this HWI we are going to be access. Through this when we can access, it is going to be checked with Hive web interface, then Hive drivers and Metastore. And so here also it is not going to be deal with the HDFS again. So if you want to access a Hive using a web browser, we first need to start with the Hive web interface, that is a HWI server, and point out the browser to the port on which the server is listing. So that is shown on figure. So that is the figure number 3. So HOA client configuration. So I already shown we have a 3 parts. The first part, what are the things, and the second part, client applications are there. Third part is about Hive, and fourth part we have various HDFS 1, HDFS 2, ERN and TEGs are the applications are there. This total is going to be stand on HDFS. So once again I will show you that total diagram of. To see it together. See this. So administration of client and server. So administration and server coordinations. So that is Hive web browser, Hive SCL, and use. We are going to be used. These are the administration purpose. So these are the client applications. What we are going to be use client applications and Hive. These total is going to be stand up on HDFS 1. That is a map reduce 1, a map reduce 2, version 2, and TES and air. This total is going to be stand up on HDFS. This is the architecture diagram. Please remember. Now we are going to be talking about the second and third part. So how the client applications we are running. So for this, we already talked about HCL, Hive CLI, and the second one is about Hive web interface. Okay. Next, third one is about how to JDBC, ODBC drivers, how we are going to be connected and how we are going to be processed. This total we are going to be used on Hive drivers, then Metastore, and so how much part we are going to be talk and what is the thing we are going to be executing. So this one we are seeing. So client, and we are seeing a web browser. So web interface we are seeing, and his Hive CLI. So Hive drivers, it is going to be store these commands and it is sent to the meta store. So when the meta store is going to be have a data and it is checked with whether the query is correct or not. Again, the syntactical checks are going to be happen. The compiler is going to be take care about this one. Then it is going to be Apache nearby DB. It is going to be compiled. So now I will show you that how it will start. The following step you can need to start before we can go with them. So HWI server, configure the hash, that is a dollar $h home, configure Hive hyphen site XML. So we are going to be run XML file. So that XML it is take to browser. The file below to ensure that Hive to find and load the HWS server Java server pages. So Java JSP pages is going to be open. So see here how we are going to be done. So property name. So that this Hive site dot XML what the contains. So property name and Hive dot HWI dot where dot file. So through that home we are going to be open. This is the description. This is the where file which JSP contains Hive web interface. So this is the content in that Hive.xml file is going to be contained. So the HWI server requires Apache and library to run. So download and sorry Apache and so another application Apache and library to run so that download and from the Apache site. So at this we are going to be it is a simply how XAMPP is there no. So where you can run all those servers we can run now for that. Similar we are going to be use here Apache and so through the web link we can download and so install and following commands. So as usual you know that. So first we can find the and then we can extract it and we can put into home folder to that folder. No? So we know that some frequent steps are there. No? So same. So make dir and we are going to be create one directory for and then cp. So we are going to be copy these files into that particular folder. Then cd and we are going to be close the directory. Then so we are have a zip file. That zip file we are going to be extract from tar target file to we are going to be extract all those things. Through this we are going to be install that ant file. Then we are going to be set the ant library environments and to start the browser. So what is the need of this Apache ant means? So in order to run this, generally what I told you before CLI, we are opening a terminal and through the terminal we are going to be type the SQL commands and we are going to be follow. So from this onwards we are going to be run on the browser. For browser enable purpose we are going to be use this Apache ant. So for this how we are going to be install. So exporting ant underscore library from this file. Then we are going to be put that Apache into bin folder of Hive, bin Hive server.hwi. So in addition to that above in a production environment, you would be probably configure the two other properties. So that is the properties is nothing but what is the packages we have in that. So that is hive.hwi.listen.post and hive.hw.listen.post. Port number and host number we have to listen. So the simple we have to process this request and response. Now, whenever we have a browser, what is the meaning of browser? It will be act in between the server and client. It is going to be it has to listen what the client is sending and it has to reply to the port from where it is getting the information. Sorry, is request and response process is there. No? So there is see here hive dot hwi listen dot post. What it will be do? It is used to set the IP address of the system running your HWI server. So which IP is running on that particular server it shows. And the port number, it is used to set the port number that HWI server listen on. So what is going to be, which IP address you are going to be used and which port number it is going to be listen. So all those things, that is a client server communication is going to be deal on this. So here we can use the default settings with the Hive server now running. We can simply enter the URL. So that is the diagram I have shown in the box. We have local HTTP colon localhost colon 9999/HWI. So it is into your browser view metadata or first table as shown in the figure. So we already created a table. No? That table we want to show on this. It's shown on like this. Whenever we can run our HWI server, then definitely it's shown. So see here we have so like home and authorized and browse and create scenarios and use scenarios and digest all those things. Our first table is already created with the three columns. We have uh, column size is 3. We have input format is what is the format, all those things. I think the diagram is not clear. That's why I am reading what is the content in that. So simply you can see that there is the URL we have Apache. So that is http.localhost.triple 9999 and /HWI/ shows the table. So we want to show the table on the web browser. So before that it was running on the terminal. Now it is running on the browser. So in order to enable this browser, we are going to be use Apache and so in order to make client server responses to provide that one, we are going to be use Apache and that one we are going to be configure. Then we are going to use this Hive web interface. How we are going to be do the interface. Okay, so this is a browser enable. How we are going to be do this clients. Next, another one is about Queryl as Hive clients with JDBC drivers. How we are going to be use the JDBC drivers. So this is again a client application. So we are going to be use Queryl SQL, then Hive JDBC drivers we are going to be use. Then it is going to be submitted to the Hive thrift server. Then it is submitted to the Hive server. Even though the another part will be available here, what is a Hive CLI and these two only available. These Hive CL directly we can run from the terminal. From these other two is going to be run from the servers. So I already told you remaining two are we are going to be run on the web page itself. So in order to run on web page, we are going to be use Hive thrift servers. We are going to be use this one. So see that the last Hive client is open to for Queryl SQL. It is provided an user interface to Hive and simplify the task of querying large tables and analyzes the data with Apache Hive. So figure to illustrate the how the Hive architecture would work when using the tools such as SQL, that is a Queryl SQL. So this is a client application. So by using this, again we can see the result on the browser. So we may use that previous one and we may use this. So but this SQL Queryl through the JDBS drivers only we are going to use. So the above figure we can see that Queryl can use the JDBC API. So Java database and to API application program interface to pass the commands to the Hive drivers by the way of Hive thrift servers. So that is a figure 6 shown. So some shown some HiveQL, that is a HQL we can call the HQL commands running against the Hive driver, similar to the command that you ran earlier than CLI. So how we are going to be running command line interface? Same thing we are going to be run on this Browser itself we can run on these Hive, that is a HQL commands. HQL commands means Hive query language commands we can run. So see this is also, so browser we can run it, and we see that, so we are running the commands here. So we can see the white space where we can run that, and down we can see that output, what is that output. So first one is about how we are going to be running a terminal, only terminal. Mm, the second two are about browser. So for these browser enable, we are going to be use what high threat servers we are going to be using. No? So by these servers, we can run all those things on the browser enable. So here we are going to be run the commands, that is HQL commands, that is like similar database commands we are going to be using. Show the database, use the our first database, show the table, describe the our first data. So that is the we are going to be shown from three database table it is showing, and how it is showing in all those things it is mentioned. So screen is visible. So showing the table here, then downside itself it shows the what is the table, and how it is showing. See that the diagram is not at clear. So see here, my cursor is visible, you can see there the result. So we want to show the result here. So description about the our first table here is about, and the show the table, and the use our first database, and show the database how we are going to show. So here everything we can see that descriptions and table, what is the content, and the description of the content, everything we can see. Okay. So working with Hive data types. So data types, what are the data types we are going to be using? So here what are the data? The following list shows all the Hive supported data types. So that is Hive's service CLI, command line interfaces. So see that how we are going to be run this. Hive create database, data type DB. So we are going to be use the database we are going to be use. The database table name is about data underscore type underscore DB. So then it is giving okay. So the time taken to create the table is 0.119 seconds it is taken. Then we are going to be use the database DB. Then okay, the time taken is 0.01 seconds. So how we are going to be, see here, Hive is going to be, this is a generally in the programming lines it will show no 1 2 3, that is the numbers 1 2 3. Hive create data types, so data underscore types underscore table. So it is showing what is that our something name we are going to be use small int, tiny int, and int, big int, float, double, and decimal. Generally we have how short int, long int, the same here. What are the data types? Here we have the tables, and the comments is 1 byte, 2 byte, 4 byte, 8 byte, and single precision float value, the description. So double precision float value and precision, all those things we have. So that is Java decimal, big decimal objects. So we are going to use our dot decimal. Then our dot time stamp we are going to use. So this is the description how size of data types we have to know. So what is the size of integer? What is the size of double? What is the size of same here? We have tiny int, small int, int, and big int, float, double, and decimal. and time steps. These are the various. So still we have some more things also. See here, we have our boolean. So boolean it shows the true or false, and the string, so characters string it shows how it will be. Then our binary commands data type for storing the arbitrary names per bytes, and our array tiny int how we are going to be used. Collection of fields of the same data type indexed by an integer. Same string int. So collection of keys value pairs. Key value pairs how we are going to be used here. So see that arrays only the values, and map contains both string value and key value. So there is a value and key value. Key no. So that is a value is about a string type, and key is about integer type. So that is a key value base. So that is a comment. Then about the struct. So we are going to be using the struct is again we can use for nested complex data type. What is the meaning of simple nesting struct in C language? Same here. So we can group the different types of data types. That is a heterogeneous data type. No? That is see this here, int, and the second one float, and third one is a string, and commented as that is a nested complex data type, data structure. So different types of data types we are going to be used for here. Our struct and union. So both are same. That you know the difference between a struct and union type. So both are sharing the memory. So the internal changes only there. The external changes we cannot see in the program. But the commands that keywords what we are going to be used, that keywords are here we can use the struct. Here is union type we are going to use. So internal differentiation will be there. The external programming differentiation is your own time sheet. So then we have a commit table illustrating all the Apache Hive data types. Then the row formatted details and the fields terminated by the colon. So here we simply through the command how we are going to write simple. We can write a program, no size of by using the size of keyword we can show the size what is that. Then we can know the what is the maximum and minimum limit of integer. Have you remember the maximum and minimum limit? So same way the minus 63,000 to plus 63,000. So like that way. So here we have a description of those. So here the comment we passed about Apache Hive data types, and that is the description. Line by line end with the slash n, and stored the text values. So what is colors, all those things. So this is time taken for 86 seconds. So for this we run a command. So see this Hive create database table. So in that table we are going to be write all those things. Use data types DB. No? So it's taken 50 times and it shows all the data types. What are the type data types are there in that. Simply it is a help command how we are going to use. So Hive has a primitive data types as well as a complex data types. Primitive data types and complex data types. So the previous all those thin int, small int, boolean, all those things are one type of homogeneous data types, and where we have a structure and union are the complex data types. So this Hive will provide the both complex types and primitive types also we can show. The last four in the columns, line 16 to 31. So I told you, 16 to 31. So 16 here we have a group of data. So that is data. Here the map. So two different types of data. And here the struct we have group of heterogeneous data, and union also group of heterogeneous data. So from 16 to from array to 31, the last up to here, all are the complex data types we are going to do. So the last four columns, see line 16 to 31 in the our database table, the complex data types, array, map, struct, and union types. And line 32 allows the comments for entire table. Line 32 is comments for all the data table. And line 39 to start with the keyword that is a tab TB properties. That is the table properties. So what is the meaning of table properties? 39 up to 39, which provides a way of you or add the metadata on the table, this information. So that is see that how we are going to be terminated by the comma and the collection by the slash, and end with the key is about the cap symbol, and line terminated by the slash n. So these are the information how the properties and how the metadata is going to be uh, provided in the particular table. This information can be viewed later. The table is created which the Hive QL, that is the HQL commands such as describe, extended, tables, table name. Then the line 33 to 38, 33 to 38. So in table, create a table statement, specify the file format. So what is the file format? Which our table gets stored in the HDFS, and defines how the fields and rows are delimited. So how it is differentiated each and every columns in that particular table, which shows the information. So this is the information how we are going to be run by using queryl servers, how we are going to be running them. So creating and managing the database table, creating and managing the database table, how we are going to be create and how we are going to be manage this one. So creating and dropping and altering. So have you remember this? What is creating, dropping, altering? Have you heard these words? If you remember the DBMS concepts, where we are going to be write DML comments, DCL comments, DDL comments. Have you remember? Data manipulation, data controlling. So all those things where we heard these words, creating, dropping. Whenever we are going to be consolidated with the tables, database tables, we can heard these words. So creating, dropping, and altering the database in the has been. So here we have. So again, we are going to be start with CLI servers. So through the browser, we are going to run it. So here Hive set, we are going to be set it. Then use the first database. So there I shown the table and about the description. That is all. So our first database through the CLI command we are going to be shown. So Hive, our first database, then alter database, our first database, set the DB properties. So is we are showing the properties. We are going to be creator is Bruce Brown, and created for learning Hive DDL commands, learning data definition languages commands we are going to do this. So we are going to be creating. So it's time taken, and Hive, our first database, describe the database extended to our first database. So it's okay. Then our first database is contains. So in the home admin and warehouse it is created, and our first database.db. So this is the name of the database. So created for learning Hive, and created is Bruce Brown. So that is the name of who is the creator. So that is the author we can write the name. So for this it is time taken and fetch it for one row. So created. So that is simple. We are going to be insert the data into the database. Insert the data into the database. So database schema, if not exist, the database names. So these are the lines we have. So simply one line how we are going to be writing. No? So that is so our database gets there. So how much time it's taken. So how we are going to be run these commands, and through these commands how we are going to be create and manage the database. So that is our heading. No, that is our heading. Create and manage the database tables. So how we are going to be create, then how we are going to be maintain. How we are going to be send the data to the database table. So that is the alter database we are going to be used to send and modify the. So that is information about. So what is the line 4 and what? So in the line 4 of above instruction. So you will see what is the line 4, then we can discuss. So see here, that is Hive, our first database, alter database, our first database, set into a drop, no, sorry, DB properties. So database properties, and we are entering So we are entering in a double quote, in a single quotation, we are mentioning that it is going to be a column name. So that is creator, who is the creator, and what for create for learning Hive. So now we will see what is it. So line for instruction, we are now altering the database table which is already created with name of our first database to include two new metadata items. So that is creator and created for. These two datas are added into that particular data. So that database here, all the database we are going to be calling as metadata. So that is metadata, new metadata items are added. Simply we can simply that in the meaning of table manner we can call it. So two more columns were added into that particular metadata. So that two columns are creator and created for. So these two columns were added. So already previously we added first name and last name and something employee ID we have. So then we have given the two more items into that particular metadata is creator and created for. So this line for information. These two can be quite useful for the document purpose. So the documentation purpose and coordination with your working groups. The command line 5 is used to view the metadata. So we can view the metadata, we can use it. Line 5. What is the line 5? We'll see what is the line 5. Line 5 is Hive, our first data greater than symbol. So up to this is default. It is whenever it is going to be describe enter into that, we can use that first database. It is from inside the that is a Hive bracket. Then we are going to be described. So this describes is going to be shown. So that is a line 5. View the metadata table. So how the metadata is. With the help of the command line 6, we are dropping the entire database and removing from the server. So we can drop the table and command deleted the individual tables. So in the line 6, we have a Hive, we can drop the database table. That particular database table we are going to be deleted. So we know how to create and we know how to alter the table and we know how to drop the table. So this is how we can learn, and we can learn these 6 lines, how to create and how to manage and how to drop. So that is a simple creating, adding and dropping. So that is the command drop the table and commands to delete the individual tables in that particular method. Creating and managing the tables with Hive. Creating and managing the tables with Hive. How we are going to be create and manage. Okay. So Apache Hive lets you define the records format separately from the file format. So Hive tables default to the configuration in below listing unless you override the default settings. So how we are going to be, so create table. So so can you remember where we are going to be write these commands like this? It is not a CLI format. So this is, it may be a HWI, Hive web interface. So there we can write like this. So create table, something name we are going to do, and the row from delimited. So this is how we are going to separated each column by using delimiter, and the fields from fields terminated by. So how we are going to be terminated, and collections of items terminated by two, and map keys are terminated by single quotation /003, and the lines are terminated by /n and stored as a text. We are going to be stored as a text. So how we are going to be create a table with the help of this. The following listing is specifies on how fields will be separated or delimited whenever you are inserted the local data into the table. So for example, you are trying to enter into the data into the table, how it is going to be separated with things. So that is general meaning is, so terminated by comma, and collection of items terminated by / symbol, and map keys are terminated by cap symbol, and lines are terminated by /n and stored as text file. So how we can show this? So then the draft review. I think these 33 to 39 we saw in the web creating that time. These are these lines now. So the same line. The description about the table from 33 to 39 we saw now. So that is the information. So here we have. So whenever we are going to be uh, created as a table properties. So who is the creator and created at what time, the time and EDT, so enterprise data table where we have in which year and all those things information it shows. Okay. So this was how we are going to be doing. The above listing lines from 32 to 37, 33 to 37 defines a Hive rows format to the our database table, and line 38 defines the Hive file format as a text format. So that is the last line is there, no, stored as text file. And the data is stored on HDFS, how the data is stored. So far we have seen using the default text file format for your Hive table records. However, you know the text file are slower to process and they consumes a lot of disk space unless you compress them. So meaning is the text files is generally taking a large space on the disk. So and also it is much time to take the retrieving purpose also. That is a simple meaning. So unless we can compress here. So for this reason and more, Apache Hive community come up with several choice for storing the tables on the HDFS. So for this only we are going with the various ways of storing on the Hadoop. So Apache file formats are there. So if the files are different formats are there, no? So what are the formats? So the following list of describes the formats which we can use Hive version 0.11. So various formats. The text file we are using. So various formats are there. So first text file. The default file format for Hive records. So alphanumerical characters for the Unicode standards are used for storing your data. The next one is about sequence file. Sequence file. This format for binary files compressed by key value pairs. So second file. First one is about total alphanumeric characters we are using. The second one is about how we are going to use the sequence files. So this is key value pairs, map files. So which have heavily by Hadoop are often good choice for Hive table storage, especially if you want to integrate the Hive with the other technologies in Hadoop ecosystem. So when we are interacting with the other Hadoop ecosystems, these sequence files are very much interaction, very much useful to interact with other systems. So then another one is about RC files. That is RC files. It is a standard record column files. It stores the record in a column-oriented fashion rather than the row-oriented fashion. So like the text file format approach. So generally we are going with the column-oriented record storage rather than the row oriented. So row oriented is like a text file only. That's only we are going to be avoid with one. We are going to with the column wise storage. Yeah. So text file, sequence file, and RC files. RC means record column oriented files. Column oriented. Then another one is about ORC. ORC is standard for optimized row column. So a format a new as Hive 0.11 has a significant optimization to improve the Hive reads and write and the processing of table. So this means the both column and rows we are going to do. For example, ORC. The file include for optimization for Hive complex data types. So we already know that the Hive is provide the both primitive and complex data types. Both it is available the data types. So what is the simple meaning of complex data types? So already know that no, there is a line 15 to 33 and something you heard. No? So what? So arrays, maps, and structure union files are the complex types. So there we have a mixed type of, that is a heterogeneous of data types are available. Data are available. That's why it is going to be called as complex data types. And a new type such as a decimal is also a lightweight indexes are included with the ORC files to improve the performance. So we are going to be store it and we are going to be using indexing also. So through that particular index, we can easily identify the data where is available in the particular record. So that is another one is about input format and output format. This input format will read the data from the Hive table, and the output format does the same thing for writing purpose data on the Hive table. So input is reading and output is for writing purpose on the table. To see the default settings for the table, simply we can execute describe extended table name pipeqr and the statements as well as input format and output format classes for your table. So these are the input is for reading and output is for writing. So these are the we can stop after this. We have saw nearly various formats. The first one is a text file and sequence file and RC file. And the second next one is about ORC file, and the last one is about output and input formatted files are available. So we'll stop up to this. If you have any doubts, you can tell me. I will discuss.